everyone. It's really good to see you. I'm getting ready to put together a soap and thought I'd bring you along with me. I'm really excited about this because the truth is, do you know how they say if you don't use a muscle, you'll lose it? It's true, and I have the lack of muscle to prove it. But the same can be said about videoing. Making videos. I have gotten out of the habit of filming myself making soap and things, which I did for years here on YouTube. But when I got real busy and things got kind of hectic and I was going through a bit of depression, which I'm fine with right now. I'm actually doing really good right now. I'm happy. I'm healthier than I've been in many, many years. I have been exercising. I have been walking. I have been spending more time out in nature with the animals. And I feel good. I really do. I feel better than I have felt in a long time, which is partially why I'm doing this video. I wanted to get back to making things on camera again, not because people have been clamoring for videos. I don't get much clamoring. Most of my customers just find me. I don't even know how they find me. A lot of it's word of mouth. Since I started wholesaling, my products have ended up in a lot of stores across the United States, and people buy them and then they find me online, and so I've been picking up a lot of business from my wholesale customers, which I never expected. But that being said, I don't do YouTube videos for business, although I do pick up some customers that way, and that's great too. But I had really got out of the habit of filming and actually started a couple of videos. I have partial videos done already on soaps that I was making, but I got nervous about it, and I said stupid things in the video which would require me to go back and do voiceovers, and that's tiring. For me. I run my business about 18 to 20 hours a day. That's not an exaggeration. And it's not that I'm not getting a lot of sleep because of the work. It's because I just don't get a lot of sleep. I never have been a heavy sleeper or a long sleeper. As a rule, if I get 4 or 5 hours sleep a day, that's normal for me and has been for many years. That doesn't mean it's healthy, and I'm not suggesting it for anyone else, but that's me. And due to that, I have more time to spend on working on orders, which is a lot of what I do, is packing orders and shipping orders. I would say that takes up a good 40% of my day. 40 to 50% is shipping. That's a lot. So it doesn't leave a lot of time for creativity. I'm having to make products that I do sell, that I am shipping and selling. I have to remake things constantly. My bison soap, which actually I have one here on the table, if I can, right here, that I'm going to have to cut. I make that soap almost every day. No, I make it every day. I do make it every day. And the only way to get excited about it and do anything extra, sometimes I'll do a little something different on the top, like on this one. I actually used a hair pick of mine when my hair gets real long and starts getting curly and stuff. Anyway, But it works great for, this one isn't what I use in my hair, but they're great for just putting lines in soap, and sometimes that's all I feel like doing. Sometimes I'll add a little wave to it, but because I'm just remaking the same thing over and over so often, it's just not very interesting for me to film or to, talk about. So the video that's this is going to be followed up with is me actually making one that I don't make as often. I'm going to be remaking my Mega Moist soap, which I love to make. That's what this video is going to be, is me remaking that. Which, if you don't want to hear me continuing to talk, you may want to fast forward to that. But I love making Mega Moist. It's a soap generally I've made in winter. But this is August and soon to be September, so it's time for me to start making those fall and winter soaps and actually get a head start on it, which I'm usually terrible at. A lot of times by the time I get around to making Christmas soaps, it's December, so there's no time. So I'm going to try to get started on these things earlier. I may start my Christmas soaps in the next week because I want to have those. I enjoy doing those. I like making the videos. It's a fun soap. And I have my reindeer milk in from Alaska, which I'm excited to use this year again in my Christmas soap. But my point was that if I don't do my videos regularly, I get out of the habit of it and I stumble over it. That's why I've started doing these talking to the camera videos, because I feel like this is a good way for me to get comfortable again with the camera, to try to be who I am, which I'm not going to say I like myself or dislike myself. I am who I am. I do try to clean up for the videos a bit, but I'm not a person who feels comfortable in front of the camera. I can pretend, I can smile for the camera, and I can perform for the camera, but I still am not a big fan of going on camera. And I think a lot of that is just because I spent a lot of my life not liking myself very much. And it's only now in my 60s that I have begun to come into my own, like who I am. I'm starting to treat myself better. I had some bad teeth that I got fixed. I am working on my health by doing more exercise and walking. I've even thought about joining a gym so that I can actually build a little bit of muscle mass. I'm not talking about becoming a steroid god, nothing like that. Just trying to strengthen my core and stuff, because as you get older, using your back and lifting, which I do a lot of lifting, like just lifting that soap off the table was a bit of a challenge for me because I don't have a lot of muscle mass. I never have been a real muscular guy, but I do want to kind of add a little bit of that so it's not so hard for me to do things like that. Like lifting the buckets of soap. When I'm lifting 50 pounds of soap and lye solution and pouring it into a mold, that is a real challenge for me, and I would like that to be a little less challenging. Yeah, there are tools I could get. I could get a lift here to lift those things for me. I know that, and some bigger makers do that sort of thing, but I'm not quite there yet, and I don't want to give up on myself. I want to continue to try to become a better version of myself in my eyes, not yours. What you see is whatever I'm happy with showing, and I have to be happy with myself, and I am happier with who I am. I'm not talking about what I look like, but I'm talking about how I feel about myself. And I'm sure some of you struggle with that. If you're a maker of any kind, or you go on camera, I bet you know exactly what I'm talking about. It can be challenging sometimes to be the person that we want to be on camera and be comfortable with who we are while being that person on camera. I personally, at this stage of my life, like who I am. I wouldn't mind knowing me if I were another person, but I'm still pretty shy about going out and being that in front of other people. It's easy to do it in front of a camera because the camera doesn't judge. It's just there. But when I put it on YouTube, then I hear from people, and I will say that most people are very positive. I'm not looking for that. I'm not looking for any kind of feedback about me or going on camera, which probably that's what it sounds like I'm asking for, but I'm not. I have to be comfortable with that. I have to be happy with it. Whether anyone else is or not, it's incidental, and it matters. Of course it does. But me being happy, that's why am I wearing a cap? When I make products, a lot of times, because I do have very thick hair, and when it's longer, it tends to shed. And I'm aging, so I'm not going bald by any stretch, but we all lose hair, and so I find when I'm wearing a cap, hang on, I came unbuttoned. When I'm wearing a cap, it just holds my hair better, kind of like wearing a hairnet or that kind of thing. I wear an apron because I really like white t-shirts for comfort, especially in summer, but they stain really easy, so I've always got an apron on. I wear gloves when I'm soap making. I take off my watch and my rings when I'm making things. I try to. Sometimes I forget. I may actually forget in this video. I'm going to maybe, if you're interested, and you can tell me in the comments, I love hats. I have all kinds of hats. I won't say I have hundreds, but I have certainly dozens and dozens of hats and boots. I've been collecting boots for 40 years. I have a lot of them. I've given away probably as many as I've ever bought. I just really like them. I'm a tall guy. Well, tall is relative, I suppose. I'm 6'2". But when I put on like my cowboy boots, I'm 6'4". And that's always been kind of fun to kind of be a little more towering. But I live in Texas where a lot of giant guys here, 6'7", 6'8". So I'm actually kind of short for a Texan, at least for a lot of them that I see out and about. My neighbor's son is 6'8", gigantic. Anyway, I'm babbling, aren't I? See what happens when I talk to you all? This is why I try to not go on camera, because it's my only chance to really chat with someone very much, and I chat to you a whole lot. And thank you for that, I appreciate it. So come along with me, let's put this Mega Moist soap together. Welcome back, everyone. All right, so here I have my cocoa butter, my mango butter, my shea butter. I have lanolin and tallow. Here I have olive oil and castor oil. And over here I have my lye solution. And here I have my fresh goat milk. So I'm actually going to melt my hard oils and lanolin with my lye solution first. I usually do not do the thermal transfer of my oils, but for this particular soap, it works really, really well because I am separating out my hard oils from my soft oils, so it seemed like a good time to do that. As a rule, most of the soaps that I make are primarily pure tallow soaps, about 90% of my soaps. Even though I raise goats and make my goat milk lotions and my goat milk shampoos, I haven't been making as many of my goat milk soaps, and I've actually got a lot of people asking me to make more. I do have my Manuka honey, oats, and goat milk soap, but I decided on this one. This is my Mega Moist soap, and anytime I make it, I generally do get requests for the one that I make with goat milk. I make another vegan formula that doesn't have the tallow and doesn't have the goat milk in it. I usually make both versions each year, but this one I'm starting out with. This is the non-vegan version that has the tallow, lanolin, and goat milk in it. So it has been, as I mentioned in the pre-video, business is good. It's been very, very, very busy. It varies sometimes day to day, depending on, sometimes based on the stock market, things can slow a bit or go crazy. And I've never seen things as volatile as they are right now. Well, that's not true. When I was a kid, we went through a recession and we had gas wars, but I was a kid, and it's not as important to you when you're a kid. You don't really know what's going on that much, or I certainly didn't. But what I can tell you is that this is much like that. I don't know how things are going to turn out. I hope that they turn out well for us all. I refrain from being political on my channel for a lot of reasons. You don't come here for that. There are a lot of channels that certainly do delve into that, and I just don't see the point. For me, I'm not a real political person. I do believe that these are times when even non-political people should be involved. So I am more involved now than probably I have been at any time in my life. But anyway, I know that a lot of people right now are going through some difficult times. And actually, on that very subject, the video that's going to follow this one is going to be a value bar of soap. I think it's time that, we in the handmade soap industry have to price our soaps in such a way where we are making an income. And, well, we never want to take advantage of our customers. None of us want that. I know that for a fact. I shouldn't say that I know that for a fact. I'm sure that there are some people that don't mind taking advantage of their customers. But the people that are here right now that are soap makers, I know that's not the case. You want to make a profit, but you make your product to help people. And we have to price it accordingly. But that also doesn't mean that we can't take some of those profits that we do make and try to give back a little bit. And that's why I'm going to be creating I don't want to get ahead of myself because I haven't done that video yet. They'll follow this one, but I do want to create a few value bars for folks so that, you know, during these difficult, challenging times, you know, they can still enjoy a great bar of handmade soap that will get them clean without stripping their skin of vital moisture, without having to pay a premium price. So, but I'll talk more about that in that video. I had a really good day today. Me and Doug and Barry just went for a walk, and we've been going for some pretty long walks. Now, it's hot. Today it was almost 100. It was 90. Let me see. What is it right now? Where's my phone? Okay, right now it is 98 degrees, and it's tough on the animals. They want to go with me when I walk. The cats follow along. Everybody wants to follow along. Okay, I've just got this one big chunk of coconut oil, this coconut oil that I need to get dissolved here. Maybe once I hit it with the blender, I can break it down a bit, because I don't want this to start setting up. I need to get my other oils in there. And our goat milk. This is very, very fresh. All right, so it's going to get noisy here, so I will be muting the mic. All right. In just a moment here to readjust the camera. Oh, 1 second here. I forgot to turn the... I have to adjust every little thing. I'm working with a different camera setup here, so figuring the angles out and stuff is a little more challenging. This is a very, very thick soap. All those hard butters and the lanolin. So it does set up quickly, which is wonderful. No time waiting. I need to kind of level this out a bit more. Just want to fill in all the low spots a bit more. Okay, let's. Sometimes I just like to do kind of like these little darts. It's simple, but when the bars are cut, it just gives a nice little flip on top, which I like. It's lazy. Never have been terribly skilled at decorating the tops of soap. Now, I need to do more piping. I'm not going to improve at piping unless I actually start doing more piping. So these cut really nicely. They set up for about 28 hours and cut like a dream. And sometimes with this particular soap, because I put a lot more lanolin in my soap than a lot of people would suggest, but it is, after all, meant to be more of a beauty bar than a soap bar. So even though these do have a lot of butters in them and as a rule set up quickly and harden quickly, the lanolin can make them cut a little more difficult. So I generally will let these sit longer than I do with my other bars. But as you can see, these came out just perfect. They're not very exciting. They all look the same. There is no variation in them because, well, I didn't put any design in them. As you saw, I only did a little bit of work on the top, if you want to call that work. But it does give, I think, a nice texture to the top without being too showy or, well, because I'm lazy. Perhaps lazy is not the right word. I just have been so busy, I don't oftentimes take the time to make the bars beautiful. I just want to make them serviceable. But they have quality ingredients in them, and according to my customers, my bars last a long time and provide them with a product that they enjoy using. And I've never once had someone say, oh, these bars are too ugly to use. Although that's why I have my grab bags, because there are some bars, like you'll notice this third one from the left, it was cut a little crooked on the bottom. That one will go into my grab bags. And some of those can be rather unattractive bars. These, I do always stamp these with my little sheep stamp, just a small acrylic stamp that I use just to put an impression of the sheep on them. It's just a little something I do. I don't know that my customers care that much, but It's just something that I do. And now you will notice that that third bar from the right on the second row there, and the fourth bar from the left on the bottom row have some slight discoloration on them, and they were at the ends of the mold, so oftentimes the ends that are touching the end of the mold can have a little bit of early gelling, so they can set up a little bit differently, or late gelling I should say. They don't always gel the same as the middle of the bars, but they're perfectly great bars of soap. But I want to thank you all for visiting and for spending this time with me. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Have a terrific day, everyone, and I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.